Hello, and welcome to this Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, should I say Open RCT 2 Let's Build series, where the sole purpose, I guess, for this is for me to get used to all of the new features that Open RCT 2 offers. I've wanted to have this for a while. I've figured out how to get it onto my Mac, which is surprisingly easier than I thought it was going to be, and I'm sort of replaying this, I guess, out of nostalgia. I used to play this all the time as a kid, so I've been wanting to get back into playing Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 for a long time. In the meantime, I'd been playing a lot of Parkitect and thought, let's record it and see what comes of it. Mainly because I have a terrible habit of starting something and then not finishing it. It's just my brain, I guess. With this, I'm, as you can tell for the eagle-eyed people out there, this is not a standard recreation of Six Flags Magic Mountain. This is me using the map as a base to just play around with the new features and what I can do, and refresh my building skills. I'm not the best builder in the world, but I always enjoy watching these type of build videos and having them on in the background, and I guess that's my goal, is to just have something that people can watch in the background. I'm not using any custom scenery for this. I am using just the vanilla RCT2 objects, but I am going to be experimenting a lot with the available features of Open RCT2, such as the tile inspector and zero clearance and stuff like that, as that's not something that you were able to do back when I played this all that time ago. But I've started with the main entrance. It's a great place to start. And the first building you've seen is the guest services building. Just got an information kiosk in. I was going to have a cash machine in there, but I got rid of it because it was clipping. Great. And this is a little coffee shack. I'm sort of saying what you can see on screen, which is probably not helpful at all, really. But here we are. The reason I wanted to use the map is I suck at clean slate building. I find it so much easier to have like a path network available to me to build from, and utilize that as a way of being creative, I guess. I love these games so much because I can just switch off and I don't have to think about much, really, and I just sort of build what I want to. I am a very slow builder, which you'll probably see based on some of my movements and functions as I go through this, which for the seasoned Roller Coaster Tycoon players, it's probably going to drive you nuts. This building down here, I did build originally. It's the gift shop for the park, but I hated it, so I deleted it and started to rebuild it upon a second load of the map at a different date. And you can tell it's a different date because the ratio has changed. For whatever reason, when I was using OBS, I just didn't check it and started playing. So there's going to be a couple of minutes of this where the footage is kind of weird, but I didn't want to get rid of too much of it. There are two buildings, a fountain, and the first ride in the park that you don't see me put in, annoyingly, because of this footage. I did try to use as much of it as I could, but it's sort of holding to the left of the screen, and I'm building not there, even though right now I seem to be building in a perfectly fine location. Later on I stopped doing that and it just becomes unwatchable, so I do have to cut around it. But I had like a freeze frame situation later on where you can see the stuff that I missed putting in. I like the colours. I've tried to keep it very summery, sticking to like as if this were to be built where Six Flags Magic Mountain is today. with that climate, I wanted a summery feel with the lighter colours, with the pastels and all of that. And I love the glass. I love the abstract theming. It's nice. You can see me the initial building here of these stores. This is my idea was a sit-down restaurant, pizza shop, or a pizza restaurant, and a bathroom near the entrance. That's necessary. I may go in later at some other point and add a few extra buildings to this main street area, but I haven't done as of yet. I filmed quite a lot. I say filmed. I've built quite a lot leading up to this with the park. So there's a good chunk of stuff ready to go. I just have to edit it together and do the voiceover, which is surprisingly difficult. Oh, here's the frieze I was talking about. You can see in the bottom left, there's the pizza shop, the green building, and the purple is the bathroom. You've got the fountain that you'd see as you walk in, and then I have a sky ride that goes over the mountain. The foundations for that and the accessible lift is built there with the exit and the queue line, and that's sort of where I left it at. But this is a different day, and the ratio is back to a decent ratio, so it's not difficult to watch. I was trying to figure out whether I wanted to extend the sky ride to go all the way over this lake area, because I know I wanted some kinetic energy over the lake, but I decided not to do that from a realism standpoint. I just don't think it would be done. An up and over the mountain situation, I think, is more than enough. I use two lines. I have one of them with the entrance on one side and the exit on the other, and then the other one vice versa, if that makes any sense. So you can only get on and get off once each side. Yeah. The two station buildings, goodness me, it's surprisingly harder than you'd probably think to record a voiceover. I keep tripping over words. But the station buildings I tried to keep kind of similar, just for some consistency. But one of them, the entrance one, has got some blue accent, I think just in the queue line. And then this one, the other side, has got a yellow as well, which between the two lines, I think the main colour of the chair, you can see it there, is blue, but the seat is yellow, and then on chairlift 2, it's vice versa. So the main skin is yellow and the seat is blue. I'm trying to play with as much realism as possible. Hence, I've got the accessible lifts there, and throughout the park, you'll see in the future, I try to keep pretty much all pathways as ramps. If they don't have a ramp, there's an accessible route up to there. I have a lot of access points as well for staff. The only thing I didn't add with this is a garaging shed for the Skyride cars, but I can't remember if this type of Skyride has a garaging shed. I work in a theme park, and our Skyride has a garaging area where the gondolas go into, but I can't think now based on the park. I'm trying to think of parks that I visited with this type of Skyride, like chairlift, I guess. Waldermere, Knobles, I think Hershey Park. Oh yeah, Hershey Park did have one. RIP. That's now not there anymore. But I can't think of any of those had a garaging shed, so I didn't add one. Playing around with trying to add a bit more colour. What I find difficult in this game is obviously a lot of the roofs in real life would probably be grey or some kind of like beige, but that's just not very interesting to the eye with it being isometric. And I like colour, but I do go back in and change those supports to grey there in a minute, as I figure out a different way to add a bit more colour, which is the fence. Oh yes, and these my favourite item in the game at the moment, I think, are these posts. They just add more texture and more dimension to any of the buildings I'm putting in, which I appreciate. I appreciate a lot, actually. But yeah, I've enjoyed building this sky ride. I love a transport ride. I'm a transport ride fiend at theme parks. And whether it's actually transporting me anywhere or if I'm just floating around in the sky looking at nice views, I love them. So I wanted to add them in here. It does feel a bit redundant having a sky ride that doesn't take you to the top of the mountain. But here we are. I do add another transport ride in to this park, another point. But it is not one that takes you to the top of the mountain, which I might find a way of trying to add one in a later date. I don't know yet though. So you can see these station buildings here are basically the same thing, just copied over, with the queue line being different. I didn't see any need to do too much altering of the buildings. The type of vibe that I'm going for with this park is, again, with it being realism, and it's kind of a Cedar Fair, Six Flags-esque moment. The park has theming, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's themed. I just think it looks stylized and pretty, if that makes any sense. But anyone that does play these games, if you do have like any tips or hints on how to make building a little bit more friendly, feel free. I wouldn't say I've had a particularly difficult time. It's like learning to ride a bike, or riding a bike after not doing it for a while. It's like dusting cobwebs off, I guess. I don't even know if I'm making sense right now. I'm just talking. Surprisingly difficult to figure out things to talk about when doing these voiceovers. I do have a TikTok and an Instagram called Attraction Journal, which is also the name of this channel, where I just sort of started it to log my park visits for 2025 and onwards. I did a few, the basic TikTok edits that are just really cool, actually, that they have a feature where you can do it, but where you just drop clips in and it edits it for you of parks from like 2022. But I enjoy editing, and I enjoy making things that, I don't know, I find funny. I don't think I'd ever want to put something together that isn't for my enjoyment in a weird way. I want to have fun doing it. So that's why I built those, and that's why I made those, sort of a place to log trips where I can look back on them at a later date and be like, oh yeah, we had a great time going there. And it just made sense if I had a theme parky based thing to extend it with these things. So this is the full version of this. I am tempted to find a way of putting these on TikTok and Instagram Reels, but I don't know. I'll see what happens in the coming months. But anyway, as I've been talking, and I've built a car ride. Again, another type of ride I love. Don't get me wrong, I love a coaster, but I really love a car ride, and this sort of park is going to be like the greatest hits of things that I love, and I find that quite a useful way of building and just switching my brain off and having fun. I love water in parks as well, so it's why I added another lake, even though there's a million on this map already. I like to focus on viewing points and nice places to sit. If there's something that I love in a theme park or an amusement park, I love to mooch. I love riding rides, but I love a park that I can enjoy being in without needing to ride anything, which is why I love places like Europa Park or Phantasialand or Efteling. I love the Efteling. Granted, these are more themed parks than amusement parks. But even the likes of like Knoebels or Dorney Park strikes me as one of these parks as well, where there's theming, but I wouldn't say they're themed, but they are just nice places to vibe in. Kings Island, another great example. And that's sort of my ideal park, I guess. So yeah. I did put the transfer in there just around the back in the station. I didn't think this needed an outrageously long transfer in terms of in terms of the car ride. And most car rides I see kind of have the cars being able to sit in the station, or they just sort of pull off elsewhere. In a minute, I do go in and add a access path down to the lake from the station, just in case they needed to go down there to fix the water feature for whatever reason. It does help working in a theme park to think, oh, what would an accessible route look like, or would that be there, and would it be needed? Sometimes it probably isn't. I'm not a theme park designer. I don't really know what I'm talking about in regards to that, but I have an idea. I'll sort of implement it as best I can. I love a lot of the contemporary roller coaster tycoon creators. Mick It Man, Marcel, and Dirk Link, also Brian and for some reason I can't pronounce his surname all of a sudden. Andrelzik? Yes. I'm terribly sorry. I know how to pronounce your name. I'm just nervous recording this voiceover. But here we are. We're at the end of it now. I've lost the ability to talk. It's probably a good thing, as this is the end of the episode. But I'll see you soon, and this next one will be the first roller coaster in the park. I'm going to get better at voiceovers this next time. But yeah, thanks so much, and enjoy your evening or anything wherever you are. Bye for now.